I want to welcome everyone to our annual induction dinner, our ceremony. This event actually is one of my favorite, if not my most favorite event of the year, because it's not about pomp and circumstance. It's not about anything that sort of gets out of the way of the ultimate mission of this college, but it's about our very best students and celebrating our very best students on a night that is special to us as resident members, and I think special to the night of the college, as a special night for the college as a whole. So I'm grateful for your attendance and your presence here. This is amazing to say our 1, 2, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta. So you guys are our ninth annual induction ceremony. So you are part of the YOTA class. I'd like to introduce Professor Michael McGinniss, class of 1990. He is an associate professor of law coming to us tonight from the University of North Dakota. So although as he said to me this afternoon, it's pretty much the same temperature in North Dakota as it is here now, though they get the -20 wind chill plus factor, all that stuff. So he was walking around without a coat, so it gives us a sense of his hardy spirit. Mike graduated, as I said, in the class of 1990. He finished first in his class, won the George Washington Medal. His name, we walked through Bill Smith Hall and saw his name engraved there on that august plaque. He then went immediately to law school, to College of William Mary and the Marshall Wythe Law School, where he also did splendidly. He then moved back to the Mid-Atlantic area, working in Delaware for a number of years before the itch of teaching caught up with him, I guess, finally. And he left a very successful career in Delaware and began his career teaching at the University of North Dakota. I'll limit my remarks to that because I want Mike to tell you his story, because that, again, is most important on this special night where you're going to hear from someone who was like you in your shoes not too long ago. Before there was a chapter of Phi Beta Kappa, but certainly Mike would have been a member of this prestigious honor society. So I'll leave it to him to tell his story. I think it's a very interesting and sort of inspiring story, and I welcome him back to Washington College. Mike McGinniss.
Thank you, Dr. Walsh, for that very gracious introduction. I'm very privileged to be with you this evening, deeply honored to have been selected for this prestigious recognition and induction, and truly grateful to be reunited with professors who have made such a profound difference in my life. The Greek philosopher Socrates, as portrayed in the writings of his student Plato, relished the search for understanding, including of oneself, through the defining of words and the concepts that the words express. He regularly engaged in spirited dialogues with his fellow Athenians to explore the meaning of word concepts such as justice, wisdom, courage, and temperance. These word concepts exemplify the qualities of character and principles of ethical life that may be broadly described as virtues. In the Nicomachean Ethics, Plato's student Aristotle further examines the nature of the virtues, seeking to answer the question, what is the good life for humankind? For Aristotle, the ultimate telos, or supreme good for human beings, is eudaimonia, which is often translated from the Greek as flourishing. In Aristotle's moral philosophy, the virtues are qualities the possession of which will enable an individual to achieve eudaimonia, and the lack of which will frustrate his movement toward that telos. Among the moral virtues that Aristotle identifies are justice, courage, and honesty, and among the intellectual virtues is phronesis, usually translated as practical wisdom. Despite their significant differences, for both Socrates and Aristotle, the purpose of ethical inquiry is to understand goodness so that one is able to become a good person and to act as a good person should. My outstanding undergraduate education in the liberal arts at Washington College provided me with a rich foundation of knowledge for engaging in a life filled with ethical inquiry. My immersion in the humanities, with a major in English and an array of studies including philosophy, economics, world literature, and political science, inspired me to seek out a path for flourishing through the pursuit of a legal education. Almost 29 years ago, in 1986. I began my studies as a freshman at Washington College with courses in English literature, philosophy, creative writing, and economics. I distinctly recall it being a very beautiful and very hot August morning at 9:30 a.m. when I nervously took a seat in a classroom at Smith Hall for my first class at the college. Dr. Richard Gillen entered the room and with his unassuming air and wide smile made me feel immediately at ease and very eager to listen and learn from him. And as I quickly found, he was not only the kindest and most personable professor one could ever hope to know, but also a brilliant teacher and scholar who inspired me to reflect deeply about the beauty and meaning of the literature that we studied. Seeing his enthusiasm for the material and his devoted care in teaching it made me all the more motivated to work very hard on the essays that we were assigned to write for class. I wanted to impress him and show him how much I cared about the material as well. By the time I graduated in 1990, I had taken every English course he taught and was greatly enriched by every aspect of those experiences. My only regret is that in my years at Washington College, they preceded the Kipling Hall program, in which Dr. Gillen leads students on a summer journey, exploring the lands where the 19th century English Romantic poets, including my personal favorite, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, found their own inspiration. And some of you may have enjoyed an opportunity to participate in that program. In that same freshman fall semester, I also took my first course in philosophy, an honors seminar taught by an absolutely wonderful professor, Dr. Robert Anderson. We studied selections from a variety of Aristotle's works, including the Nicomachean Ethics and his account of the virtues, Immanuel Kant's fundamental principles of the metaphysics of morals, and Soren Kierkegaard's Fear and Trembling. Each of those thinkers, whose ideas Dr. Anderson brought to life in the classroom with such brilliancy and passion, had a tremendous influence on my own understanding of ethics and moral philosophy. And in the years since I've entered the academic world, as a professor myself, each of these philosophers, especially Aristotle and Kierkegaard, have figured prominently in my teaching and in my scholarship in the field of legal ethics. I was also privileged to have as a professor Christine Pabon. I distinctly remember in a world literature class I took on Cervantes and Shakespeare, just the brilliance of the teaching, the richness of the ideas, bringing these two great writers together and seeing the comparison, comparing the works and seeing the ideas brought to life meant so much to me. It was one of my favorite classes at Washington College. And I also remember and was sharing with her earlier what a privilege it was to be able to come to her home and have an evening of enjoying Cervantes and Shakespeare and just having that, what it felt like to be welcomed and have that be such a good experience as well.